Let's start by creating a new document in Photoshop. Set the canvas size to 1920 by 1080 pixels, perfect dimensions for a high-quality thumbnail. This will give us a crisp and professional-looking design every time. Now it's time to add some personality. Download the background image from the link I've provided in the description below. Place it on the canvas, and then head over to the top menu. Go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and set the value to 8. This creates a soft, dreamy effect that's easy on the eyes. Next, we'll enhance the background with solid colors. Click on the background layer, then go to the adjustment layer icon and choose Solid Color. Pick black and hit OK. This will darken the base and make the elements pop. Reduce the opacity of the background image to around 50%. Now go back to adjustment layer and choose Solid Color again. This time, select blue and click OK. Change its blending mode to multiply for a subtle yet striking overlay. The depth we're creating here will make the design stand out. It's time to bring in the star of the show. Drag and drop your character image onto the canvas, positioning it front and center. Use Ctrl+T to resize and adjust the character as needed. Make sure they're large enough to grab attention, but not so large that they dominate the composition. Let's add the money image to complement the design. Drag it onto the canvas and position it strategically around the character to balance the composition. Resize it using Ctrl+T and ensure it doesn't overlap the character too much. To match the theme, we're going to adjust the color of the money image. Select the money layer and go to the adjustment layer icon, then choose Hue and Saturation. Click the clipping mask icon so the adjustment applies only to the money image. Check the Colorize box, then set Hue to 93 and Saturation to 75. This gives the money a vibrant green hue that pops. To add depth, we're going to create a reflection of the money image. First, select both the money and hue saturation layers, then group them by pressing Ctrl+G. Duplicate the group by pressing Ctrl+J and drag the duplicate below the character layer. Use Ctrl+T to flip it upward slightly. Right-click and choose Flip Horizontal to make it look natural. Then, right-click the group and convert it to a smart object. Apply a Gaussian blur with a radius of 4 pixels and reduce the opacity to 80%. This creates a soft and realistic reflection. Now let's make it magical. Create a new layer below the character layer. Select the brush tool, set the color to a bright blue, and gently tap on the canvas to add a glowing effect. Change the blending mode of this layer to Linear Dodge Add for a luminous glow. This adds a subtle yet impactful highlight to your design. Next, grab the text tool and type your main text. Position it below the character layer and use Ctrl+T to resize it as needed. Change the blending mode of the text layer to soft light to blend it into the design. For added emphasis, duplicate the text layer twice using Ctrl+J and group all 3 layers for organization. Now click on Add a Layer Mask. Then select Brush Tool, reduce its opacity to 30%, and paint like this. Let's add some shapes for a polished look. Create a new layer below the character layer and use the rounded rectangle tool to draw a rectangle. Set the fill opacity to 10% for a subtle effect. Duplicate this rectangle using Ctrl+J and change the fill to none. Add a white outline and increase the opacity to 50%. This creates a clean and modern frame. Use the text tool to add more text inside the rectangle. Duplicate the text using Ctrl+J for emphasis. Add an arrow image next to the text for extra detail. Select all 5 layers and group them using Ctrl+G. And duplicate the group using Ctrl+J. Move the duplicate to the right to balance the layout. Finally, bring in the graph image and position it on the canvas. Add a layer mask and use the brush tool to paint and blend it into the background seamlessly. Adjust the opacity and positioning as needed to make it cohesive. And there you have it, an incredible thumbnail that's sure to grab attention and drive clicks. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Let me know in the comments what designs you'd like to see next. Keep creating and stay awesome.